What's in the back of your pantry that's forgotten but essential? It's flour, and today we're bringing it out. We're bringing it to the forefront because it's magical. That stuff can be transformed into anything if you cook from scratch. Plus, we can use flour for fantastic restaurant techniques in the comfort of our own kitchens. It's time for flour power.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
Often left in the back of our pantries, flour is a sad and forgotten ingredient. But this magical ingredient, flour here, it can be transformed into so many things. And right now, I'm going to transform it from flour in its dormant state into a delicious loaf of bread. Before we make bread, we're gonna start it. So we'll take a cup and a half flour, cup and a half of water. Perfect. Half a packet of active dry yeast. Could also be instant yeast. I love instant yeast. Struggle Whisk 7500. Now this should be extremely liquidious. This is not a dough. This is a quick, short fermentation, and it helps with the texture of the bread. It makes it airy, and that's what we want in bread. We want lift. The cool thing about starting with a starter is that you can be ready to make the bread in 2 hours or tomorrow, and it'll be ready for you. So set it aside, room temp. I have come back from a long day at the office. Look at my starter. It is bubbly. Let's make the rest of our bread. We're gonna add the rest of our yeast packet, get some cousins in here. I say 3.5 to 4 cups of flour. Always go on the lower side. As you're kneading, then you can dry it out a little bit more. It's a lot harder to add water in a yeast dough. Yeast, like sugar. And over time, sugar breaks down in flour. It's really nice, and the yeast grows on it. But what if we could, like, jumpstart their eating processes? We can, with the packet drawer and some honey. This is sort of like our free malt. We'll get some salt on the inside, some water, very nice. Cookery should be messery. Try to be deliberate with your movements, but know that like nobody can be super clean with this. Here we go, onto the table. Now we're going to use our arms to create gluten, the most wanted convict in the state of California. Here we go, fold. And remember we saved that half cup of flour? This is where I like to do this. Yes. This is such a magic trick. This is flour. This is flour and water and some yeast. This was in powder form, and now look at it. In the beginning, this whole thing was very loose. It's now fighting back at me a little bit. That's the gluten. And one of my favorite parts about making bread is that I'm burning off the calories of eating the bread before I even eat the bread. All right, we've got our bowl from before. A little love in the form of oil around the outside to prevent stickage. And I'm gonna kind of wipe the oil around with the dough ball. A little sunblock on top of the dough as well. So this is gonna hang out. It's going to rise. I'm gonna stick it in the corner over here. So now it takes a couple hours for it to rise up. I'm just gonna let it rise until it doubles in size. Look at that! Mamma mia. Punch it down. And we're gonna cover this and put it away again. It has risen again. We're gonna flip this out. Well, this is a nice view. Look at that. Take a little bit of flour here. Just get our surface going. Now we're gonna make a little ball. Nice and round. Fold it in. This guy's coming right here. Give it a little flour love on top. Way up high. Now, bakers use a special knife to slit. You know, you get those really nice slit marks, and that ensures that the dough rises a certain way and it cracks in a certain spot, and it's not like a free-for-all. I'm just gonna use a razor blade. You just be swift and deliberate. 3. Now it's time to bake this bread.
All the best bakers use steam ovens. We don't have one. Instead, we've got a super hot cast iron pan and some ice. The differentiation in temperature is going to create a time-released steam that's going to be very extreme, and it's going to make our bread much more moist on the inside. Boom! Here we go.
Let's just marvel for 1 second that the cost of this is 80 cents. Where I live, you add a 0 to that and move the decimal over, it becomes $8. It's an order of magnitude more. I can make 10 loaves for the price of 1 at the bakery downstairs. I could just cut this up and put some delicious butter on there and it would be delicious. But I think we should go above and beyond because this was so affordable. We should make a bruschetta, a crostino, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna start with some bacon. This is the L in the BLT that we're making today. It's a leek. Of course, this could be a red onion, it could be a shallot, it could be lettuce if you really want to be a traditionalist. But when you cut into the leek, you can see there's many, many layers here. And what you want to do is just make sure that there's no sand in there because that ruins the textural pleasure that we are about to experience. Okay, now, if there's any residual sand, we will get it out. Because leeks grow from the bottom and all those little sprouty things, they go there, and that means dirt falls into the inside. So, clean your leeks. Whoa, 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 clean them! If you're just getting into cooking, start with bacon. You seem like a pro right away with the aromas. Ugh. Now, we have all this bacon fat here. Be careful, splattering happens. Little salt, okay? Baby tomatoes. I like to poke them. Poke, 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 poke. Nice. Here we go. I'm going right in half. Here's the moment of truth. Not bad. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Let's talk about stretching this the full mile because we want all 80 cents to go directly into our and our loved ones' bellies. Don't wrap this in plastic wrap. Give it some room to breathe. Bread actually goes stale from absorbing moisture in the air, believe it or not. It's not that it's drying out, it's actually getting wetter. It's the opposite of what you think. A paper bag does the trick, keeps moisture out. Freezing it works particularly well. That's the only time I'd wrap it, I'd freeze it. Just don't leave this exposed. I mean, you can even do that. And from here, I will cut a slice. Our mixture is looking really wonderful. I'm gonna put it in a bowl now. Fantastic. Let's toast our bread. Make sure we get oil all around the bottom. Let's cut up our bacon. Little crumbly bits, okay? All right, I'm flipping my bread. Here we go. That looks pretty good. How about a little goat cheese? Get some creaminess on here. You definitely want to get some leeks. Treat this like an Italian pizza. Put fewer ingredients than you think. That way you're going to taste your bread. You want it to stand out, right? Got some bacon here. Here we go, our crispy bacon bits. We could stop right there, but I've got an herb garden, which is going to add some freshness and a pop of color. How about parsley? Full leaves. I'm getting that fresh parsley aroma that I love. $2.67 for this entire piece of toast. The bread itself was only 80 cents for the whole loaf. Let's give it a try. Here we go. Oh, man, oh man. Some of you are thinking, Frankie, you went overboard with this toast. You're over the $2 threshold per serving. But I made an exception. Toasts are delicious, and restaurants have been getting away with charging way too much for way too long. I want to give the power back to you. More power because of the flour.